I can't wait for this one. Jim Cramer with some thoughts on the SpaceX IPO. The same Jim Cramer who, I'd just like to remind everybody, prior to the Tesla IPO, had this to say.
He's talking about one of the most hyped IPOs in recent memory. The soon-to-be red-hot Tesla Motors, which will trade under the symbol TSLA when it comes public next week. I think Tesla will be a fabulous IPO. But I want to make sure all you home gamers understand the difference between a red-hot IPO and a red-hot stock, so that you can benefit from the initial fire without being scorched by the flames after this baby comes public. See, Tesla's an electric vehicle maker, and I think this space is all sizzle without any stage. Sell. This deal is a great way to make a quick buck or two, which is why I advocate trying to get in it. But long-term, Tesla is cell block material. You get shares in the IPO, you want to sell them after the initial pop. Do not hold them for longer than that. I want you out the first day. This is a seductive IPO. People are going to hear that Tesla is the best positioned company to play the fully electric car market. How much does President Obama like that? That its roots in Silicon Valley lend its electric engineering and software expertise, that its proprietary systems integration of vehicle and electric powertrain technology give it a huge edge over any competitors. And it's got one of the hottest brands around. Let's just face it, right? I think all these things will lure people into this deal. The midpoint of the range. This is going to be a $1.5 billion company. That's a lot. So if you can get shares in this deal, I would take them and use the hype factor for you to turn a quick profit. But after it comes public, listen, Tesla's a sell. You don't want to own this stock. You don't want to lease it. Heck, you shouldn't even rent the darn thing. We just want you to take it for a test drive on that IPO and then bring it right back to the lot. Why? Because beyond the hype, there's just not much going on here. Tesla still has yet to turn a profit. That'll be a $1.5 billion company with no profit. Its most recent quarter, it actually lost more money than it did the year before, $1.5 billion, losing more money than the year before. This is a company with limited visibility. And just like when you're driving, limited visibility, let's call it dangerous. The electric car business may have a ton of sex appeal. But this industry is still in its early stages of growth and could take a decade, maybe more, before it comes established. Now, Tesla's coming out with a less expensive model. It costs 50,000 smackers. That won't hit the market till 2012. So you'll be waiting a long time before that catalyst kicks in. And any delay, it's going to crush the stock. They'll report quarter after quarter that you won't like. We say, take the money and run.
What a fun trip down memory lane. Jim's advice to his audience appears to have aged like a glass of milk in a furnace. With a $1.5 billion valuation, give or take, at IPO, Jim suggested, in fact didn't even suggest, implored his audience, don't hold the stock. Buy it, make a quick buck, sell on the same day as the IPO. You do not want to own this stock. In fact, you don't even want to rent it. Get out on day one, make a quick buck, and ride off into the sunset. Now, I'm pretty poor at math, so you guys will have to bear with me here, but I'm just trying to figure out if Tesla was $1.5 billion, give or take, at IPO, and today it's roughly $1.5 trillion, and it IPO'd back in 2010, I'm recording this in 2026, just over a decade and a half, and about a 1,000 times return, assuming, of course, you didn't follow Cramer's advice and actually just held the stock that entire time. Now, funnily enough, and hilariously actually, in this very clip, Cramer himself was pointing out that it could take a decade for Tesla to meaningfully lower costs, scale up production, blah, 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 blah. And then went on to point out that, therefore, you're probably going to have some volatility in the next few quarters. Therefore, you don't want to own and hold the stock. I'd just like to hold a moment of silence for any of the viewers of this segment who followed Jim's advice and did actually once own Tesla stock, bought it at IPO, and then, as he suggested, took the money and ran, sold on the same day, locked in a meager profit, and have since watched Tesla stock do a roughly 1,000 times over the next decade and a half. The only reason I bring this clip up before we see Jim's thoughts on what will now be the hottest IPO, sound familiar? SpaceX, is just for some historical context. And by the way, in totally unrelated matters, I just remembered there's a conspiracy theory out there that the entire mainstream finance media machine is actually an appendage of the Wall Street fee machine, whose entire existence is dependent upon activity, buying and selling. Nobody makes any money, or very little, if people just buy and hold for 16 years. Not that I actually believe in this conspiracy theory, but the The people that do believe this conspiracy theory are of the conspiratorial opinion that the entire mainstream finance media machine is in fact an extension of, an appendage of the Wall Street fee machine, whose sole purpose is to generate fees through activity. These same tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorists are of the totally deluded belief that the mainstream finance media wakes up in the morning every day and says, how can I scare people into buying or selling stocks today? Can we create panic, fear, uncertainty, and doubt to cause sales? Or alternatively, what if we create a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, a sense of urgency? How can we possibly generate the most possible fees? And these same conspiracy theorists would suggest that the ultimate form of fee generation is to convince your audience to buy and sell the same stock in a single trading day. This, by the way, in conspiracy land might also explain the extremely short-sighted, short-term nature, as in today, next week, maybe next quarter, that you often see in the mainstream finance media. Because to look any further into the future than next quarter, and should I buy the stock before the earnings or sell it before, might cause people to just hold and not generate fees, and therefore the Wall Street fee machine starves to death. But of course, I don't believe this conspiracy theory at all. So let's see if Jim Cramer is not just 16 years older, but comparably wiser as well, after the truly abominable call advising his audience strongly, take the money and run. Buy Tesla stock at IPO if you can get your hands on it, and sell it on the same day. I suspect, and I'm being serious here, Jim's probably learned a lesson on this abominable call. Might in fact be experiencing some PTSD symptoms in the lead up to the SpaceX IPO. He's probably done a little bit more homework, you would hope. I'd be stunned if he's so brazen this time around. So we may be pleasantly surprised.
Overall, I think the SpaceX prospectus is a bit of a Rorschach test. There will be some staid value investors who put their pencils down after going through the current numbers and decide, this business just isn't for them. There will be other more optimistic, less detail-oriented investors who don't need to look at anything more than the total addressable market chart and hear things like, quote, data centers in space, end quote, and asteroid mining to know that they're buying this stock no matter what the price looks like.
Now, maybe I'm imagining things, but I believe I've noticed a change in June 2010. Cramer's telling his audience, do this, I'm telling you exactly what to do. Whereas now, instead of telling everybody, at least so far, what to do, he's instead describing what people might do. One group of investors take one look and go, what the fuck? Egregiously overvalued, no fucking way. Another group of investors will bust a nut over data centers in space, don't know how to look at financial statements, numbers, don't care, buying the stock no matter what. I mean, maybe he's turned over a new leaf, or is he about to tell everybody what they should do anyway? Gotta say though, pleasantly surprised so far. He might have learned his lesson.
I don't know much about asteroid mining, but I do think Musk will eventually be able to send data centers into space if he wants to. I just don't know what happens if something goes wrong. Very expensive to do repairs in orbit, right? At the same time, I bet there's a whole contingent of Musk's most fervent believers who swap out of Tesla into the superior SpaceX once they have the chance. Most investors are going to fall somewhere between these two camps, which is a reasonable place to be, frankly. Here's the bottom line. Historically, it's rarely paid to bet against Elon Musk, but at the same time,
God. I'm losing it here. For a second there, I thought he was about to say, and I, in fact, was one of those dumb fucks that did bet against Elon. I told you all to do it as well, and that did not age well. I'm sorry. Come on, Jim, I still have faith. Just admit it. Say you're sorry, and we'll move on.
SpaceX is far from perfect, and the stock's almost certainly going to be expensive. Even if you want to own it, you might not want to buy it right away. But then again, that depends on where they price the deal. Either way, it'll have a huge impact on the rest of the market, which is why I'll keep following SpaceX so closely. And if you do decide to try to get some stock, it might pay to put a limit order on your no matter what, okay? Whatever price equates to $2 trillion market cap, as I simply can't justify paying any more than that without new information that changes the company's near-term prospects.
Well, it appears that Jim Cramer has learned about 95% of his lesson there. Seems to be an almost entirely changed man, but couldn't quite help himself in just risking getting roasted once again by pointing out that he can't possibly justify buying SpaceX stock at a market cap over $2 trillion unless, yes, that's right, new information about the company's near-term prospects were to appear. I guess that means my investment philosophy is the polar opposite of Cramer's. I'm actually looking out as far into the future as I can reasonably see. That's how I'm making my investment decisions today. Now, just one thing to discuss. The idea of maybe, you should wait and buy. The presumption there is that stock might drop below its IPO price, which, by the way, could occur. It's also possible that this doesn't occur. For those who are considering purchasing SpaceX stock, well, it probably can't hurt to spend some of your brain cycles thinking through what you believe might occur to the stock in and around the IPO, given the demand, the supply, the staggered lockups, the forced buying of indexes. And hey, you'll have a reference point to compare what you thought might occur to what actually does happen. But I'd probably suggest that the majority of your brain cycles should instead be spent engaged in doing your best to estimate what the company itself might be worth over the long term and letting that guide your potential buying decisions. Many investors back in 2010 made a nice juicy 25, 35, 40% profit on Tesla stock on day one following Cramer's advice. He was actually right about the stock surging on IPO day, but I think there's probably some investors who, instead of thinking, what's the stock going to do and what should I do because of what I think the stock will do, actually thought, hey, what's the company going to do over the long term? And many of those folks are probably today what I would describe as stealth billionaires. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.